Hello, welcome back to the channel. It is Dan Nocturne Knives coming at it today with a sharpening video. I have this awesome modded out Benchmade 940 in for sharpening, and I think it would be fun to just make a video of the process. This is going to be a fun one to sharpen, and I think it'll make for a good video. So the knife is a 940. It has this custom reblade in M390 from Razor Edge Knives. Josh over there at REK does really nice work. His reblades are some of the best. The handle is a Rockscale Designs tie scale with some modding. I don't know who did this modding, but it's awesome. Feels really good, this like silky bark texture. It might have been Cap City Creations. I know he does similar finishes to this. Anyway, it's really nice. This is a super cool knife. Blue back spacers. Really awesome. The edge on this should be about 15 degrees from Josh, and I'm just going to go and match it. So first step, as always, we want to cut off the previous edge, just get rid of that apex that has any residual heat in it, probably not, but has any fatiguing from cutting and doing work, stuff like that. Now I have my Venev F400 resin bonded diamond stone right here, and before I want to start, I just want to condition the surface a little bit, get rid of any steel that was built up on here, and just expose some nice fresh abrasive. And then I want to wash that off. Now I have a little soapy water right here, and let's get started. I'm going to estimate where I think the edge is at, take a few passes, and then I'll take a look to see if I'm hitting it correctly. There you go, I'm pretty much nailing the angle it was at. That feels like about 15 right here. Now, what I want to do is set my initial bevel. I want to apex it on each side, form a burr, and then I'll move on. This stone is pretty coarse. It cuts quickly for not being an insanely low grit. Already got a burr. That's really nice. There you can see a good consistent edge bevel. Yep, I have a burr along the whole thing. That was really easy. And that should be about right. I'm going to take a few strokes and then check it just to make sure. Right there, you can see, got my new bevel, bang on the old one. Knives that are ground really thin like this is, it's probably under 10 thousandths behind the edge. So easy to sharpen, because you have so little material to remove that you can just apex it and form that burr really quickly and easily. See, already I have a burr along the entire edge. Edge bevel's looking good. I'm getting rid of all those previous scratches. Yep, just about perfect. It's not quite perfect yet, but I'm going to go ahead and move on to the F400. This F400 is probably around, it's like 800, 1000 grit, something like that. And this is what I'm going to be finishing on. My customer requested a nice, aggressive, sticky, sharp edge for this one. So this will give you about a 1K level finish, maybe slightly lower, like 800, that kind of thing. All right, now we're ready to go. And I have my burr on this side, so that is what I'm going to start on here. Take a few slow strokes and braid that burr off. This kind of sheep's foot blade shape is really easy to work with because you don't have any big curves in the edge. It's really easy to sharpen. You don't have to worry about raising up and compensating and twisting around like you would with a knife with a lot of belly, like a drop point, something like that. Is what it's looking like. Kind of hard to see with the edge bevel being so small, but I'll get the finish a little nicer. I'll finish on the other side and then zoom in and we'll take a look at it. The M390 on this blade is feeling pretty nice. I know that I'm pretty sure that Josh sends out his heat treating to Boss Heat Treating, and feels like they've done a nice job with this. Need a little bit more material at the heel here. That's what I still needed to clean up from the 240 stone. If you're wondering about my grip on this, I like this pinch style grip here. So you hold it with these fingers. Most of the action is done with your thumb and your pointer. And then these two fingers on a smaller blade, I just use two fingers and kind of move them up and down. Sometimes I'll spread them out like this. If I'm taking longer strokes, when you get to the tip, I really use my pointer finger to kind of push down. And I almost like having my pointer finger over the tip, like this, so that I can feel the stone. I can feel exactly where on the tip is contacting the stone. So my finger's actually pressing onto the stone here lightly. And it helps me be sure that I'm really actually hitting all the way at the tip. Just a little more up there. Yeah, so my finger is kind of skating across the stone right now, so I can feel exactly where on the tip is contacting the stone. Perfect. All right, nice. Here's what it's looking like. Really nice looking finish in my opinion. You get a good tight grit pattern. It doesn't feel rough or overly coarse. It's a great finish in my opinion. I really like this. I'm going to do just a few more passes on this right side just to minimize the burr. All right, we are ready for finishing. So what I'm going to do is dress this stone one more time to make sure the abrasive is nice and fresh and sharp. And this stone I'm using is a Bodrid 1K Nagura or dressing stone. I got it on Grit-O-Matic. And this stone is a Venev resin bonded diamond. This one is F240 on one side and F400 on the other. They have gotten more expensive recently, and they are kind of tricky to find in stock. Grit-O-Matic will have them sometimes. This particular one I actually got on eBay from the Hapstone eBay store, I'm pretty sure it was. But if you go on there, they have a few of these in stock. They usually have a bunch in stock. And for really good prices, usually $25 to $50 less than other places. The only problem with them is the shipping time is very long. They usually take a month, 1 to 2 months to ship. But if you don't mind waiting, you can get a solid price and usually find what's in something in stock. Now I have just a very light burr formed, so I'm going to do a technique that I learned from the great Hap Stanley. He's the guy behind Nano Hone, if you're familiar with that. He's done a lot of work in the sharpening industry, developing abrasives and different stones. So he has this jointing technique where you take the edge and just joint it very lightly on the stone to remove the burr and just barely abrade the apex. So this removes any fatigued steel at the apex from forming the burr, and it removes the burr all in one go. Now, I have a pretty sharp but flat apex, so I'm just going to take very, very gentle, light strokes here to restore the apex. My goal is just to do enough to bring back the apex without forming a new burr. And in Hap's original technique for this, you joint it and then just do very light edge trailing strokes. I prefer to joint it to remove the entire burr all in one go, and then very gently apex again with light forwards and backwards strokes. And in doing this, I will probably form a very small burr, but if I can remove that larger burr in one go and be absolutely sure the edge is deburred to start, then I feel more confident going through the rest of my deburring progression. So I have reached the apex now, and there's a very light burr formed. So I'm going to do a series of edge leading strokes here. And these edge leading strokes are very effective at knocking the burr off and not forming a new burr. So I'm using very light pressure, approximately the same angle, or maybe about a half degree higher than I was sharpening at. And I'm being very careful to follow exactly the same direction of strokes as I was sharpening in. This will keep a nice, consistent scratch pattern on that edge bevel. Very light pressure all the way down the edge. Now I'm going to feel for a burr, detecting just a little bit of stickiness right there. That seems like it could be just a little bit of burr holding on, so I'm going to take a few more strokes. Again, very light pressure. Now, pretty confident this is pretty well deburred. Now I'm going to do some very light edge trailing strokes. This will kind of restore any damage on that apex from those edge leading strokes that I was just doing, because when you're doing those edge leading, you're kind of ramming the edge into the abrasive on the stone, and also any slurry or anything that is on top of the stone, and it can cause little dents and little damages on your apex. So it's always good, in my opinion and experience, to finish with very light stropping strokes or edge trailing strokes. So that's what I'm doing here. These are super light and about a half a degree, maybe 1 full degree higher than I was sharpening at. That is going to create the tiniest of micro bevels, but really it ensures that I hit the apex on every stroke, and I'm really refining that apex where I want to be. Now, that edge feels really sharp, feels great, feels insanely aggressive. Here's some magazine paper, and that feels really smooth. Oh yeah, this edge is so nice, straight off the stone with ease going through this paper. Absolutely no issue, feels super aggressive. Easily shaving hair. It's a little bit rough on the hair shave. I think I'll take just a few more edge trailing strokes. Very light pressure here, just to refine that edge slightly more. Okay, that feels pretty good. Oh yeah, that's really nice. You can see it's just popping these hairs off. Now, an important step before I do any stropping, I want to clean the blade really well with rubbing alcohol, get any of that grit from the stone off. Not looking to contaminate my strops with any of that. Now I have here a leather strop, and this one is loaded with 0.5 micron gunny juice. I'm just going to take very light strokes. Again, these are edge trailing, and I'm following that same direction of the stroke that I was doing while sharpening. So I'm just ensuring I maintain a nice, even scratch pattern. And by stropping at exactly that same angle and direction and everything, it's going to accentuate the scratch pattern that I've created rather than disrupting it. Feels really sharp, sticky. Here's some paper towel. Incredibly easy. No effort paper towel cutting. There's some kind of little S-cuts. Here's what the edge looks like. Again, it's so thin that it's really hard to see. That's what you get when you have a blade that's really ground to perform and ground to cut. But it's got just that nice, tight grit pattern. It's got just a little bit of shine to it when the light hits it. Feels smooth, but aggressive at the same time. Feels really, really sharp. Here's that magazine paper. Incredibly sharp. The ease at which it slices through this is exceptional. No slicing motion required. I can just push straight through it with ease. And that's all the way up to the tip and all the way back to the heel. Sorry, I was off screen a little bit there, but all the way back to the heel right there and all the way out to the tip. Equally sharp. The action on this is also so nice. You release the lock and it just swings shut like that. You give it the lightest of just wiggles and it just falls shut. And with your thumb, it's easy. Middle finger's super easy. Ergos on this handle are so nice. And when I tell you it has absolutely no blade play, I mean none. This thing is bank vault solid. And no play, open or closed. Honestly, it's astounding. Nothing. Up, down, left, or right. The precision that Josh is making these with is unbelievable. They're so good. All right, so that is the video for you. I hope you found it interesting. Hope you enjoyed it. Maybe you even learned something. I had a really good time sharpening this knife. I enjoyed talking about it. If you have any thoughts, any questions about what I was doing, anything like that, please don't hesitate to go down in the comment section. I try to read and answer all my comments and everything, and I would be happy to discuss anything sharpening or knife related with you. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Definitely help me out. And with all that said, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.